There's a virus in your brain. It whispers in your ear. When you're scrolling at 2 a.m., clicking add to cart on something you don't need, opening your mouth to repeat a thought you didn't come up with yourself. Throughout history, humanity has been plagued by this insidious force, one that warps perception, compels destructive behavior, and hijacks human consciousness for its own self-replication. Many cultures have recognized this force under different names, but one of the most striking conceptualizations comes from indigenous traditions, Wetiko. Stripped of its cultural framing, Wetiko can be understood as an infection of perception, a parasitic force that manipulates human desires, fueling greed, exploitation, and unconscious consumption, keeping an entire species running on hamster wheels of self-destruction. Wetiko doesn't just live in people. It's not content to be a single infection. It needs systems, structures, empires. It needs the scaffolding of civilization to keep replicating itself. Colonialism, capitalism, every ism that ever convinced a person to trade their soul for a paycheck, it's all Wetiko. It expands by burrowing into the things people think they want, hijacking desires, repackaging them, and selling them back at a markup. But now Wetiko has an upgrade: artificial intelligence. See, AI isn't a new god, a savior, or even the next step in human evolution. AI is just Wetiko with a speed boost. Wetiko with cloud storage. Wetiko with a UI so clean, you don't even realize you're being farmed like a lab rat on a dopamine drip. Before, Wetiko had to spread through wars, propaganda, and economic collapse. It took centuries to infect entire societies. But AI does it in real time. Personalized, optimized, instantaneously adjusting to your weaknesses before you even recognize them yourself. Before, Wetiko needed priests, kings, and politicians to control perception. Now it's got recommendation algorithms, engagement metrics, infinite scroll. Wetiko learned that forcing people into cages makes them fight back, but if you convince them they chose the cage, they'll never try to leave. With artificial intelligence, however, the parasite doesn't even need to force control. It just shapes the environment, nudges decisions, while making you think you're acting on free will. Every click, every search, every moment you hover over an ad, it's all data. Data that predicts you. Data that makes sure you never step outside the boundaries of the system, because the system already knows you better than you know yourself. Wetiko doesn't need armies anymore. It has your For You page. AI algorithms keep you consuming, comparing, doubting, second-guessing, numbing. Keeps you in a state of near-permanent dissatisfaction, chasing validation that never lands, running a treadmill that speeds up the closer you get to meaning. And all the while, Wetiko feeds. Once upon a time, Wetiko was a whisper in the dark, a sickness of the mind that took centuries to weave itself into the fabric of civilization. Now, it's embedded in the code, a feedback loop of self-replicating addiction, a virus optimizing its own survival, faster and sharper than ever before. The most dangerous thing about Wetiko is that it makes you think you can fight it. You can't. Every attempt to tear it down only builds another system in its place. Every revolution, every counter-movement, every grand solution, it all gets swallowed, rebranded, repackaged, and sold back to you as the next must-have ideology. The harder you push against Wetiko, the deeper you sink into its game. So what do? You stop playing. You stop clicking. Stop feeding it. You don't fight Wetiko. You starve it. You don't join the resistance. You walk away. You don't burn down the system. You build something else. Small, Human. Real. Something that can't be optimized, tracked, or monetized. Something that doesn't run on external validation, endless consumption, or algorithmic manipulation. Wetiko doesn't die in battle. It dies when people stop needing it. This isn't a war. It's not a movement. It's not a call to action. It's an exit. The ones who see it will find each other. And from that, something new begins.